Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Suze and I'm a divine feminine energy healer and guide. I'm back in my office corner and seriously you guys, I'm like laughing at myself for a bunch of different reasons, but if you really only understood the struggle of trying to get my lighting right for videos, it's just, I have to just laugh at myself because it's like, okay, photography and pictures and video have never been something that I have really ever kind of been in. I don't know why, it's just not my thing. And I never realized how complicated lighting is for making videos and pictures until I tried to start doing these things on YouTube. And it's like, it's so ironic. I have to tell you guys this because this is gonna partially link into my message for today. So just humor me and stay with me for a moment. But it's so ironic because if you could be here in this space with me in my little office nook over here, the view I have looking out on the other side, like you can see it, is like so much sun. I just saw 111, by the way. It is like the sun is streaming in. You probably can see look at the rainbows. I have a prism in the window and you can see the rainbows like moving on my face right now. The lighting is so beautiful, but the angle is so wrong for me making a video to you. So I really felt like I needed to be back in my office space. I know I've done some videos on other little nooks and crannies of my home here, but this place right here, I feel so grounded and I feel so clear. And I really felt like, sorry, now my cat is making noises. I really felt like being in this corner was where I needed to be to make some videos today. So I hope my lighting isn't too terrible. I literally have a lamp directly in my face at the same time, like a really powerful light. And it doesn't look like it's doing a whole lot of much of anything because of the way the sun is behind me. But humor, let's talk about humor for a minute. The conversation for today, the subject matter for today is in response to a viewer that is so supportive of my channel, is constantly leaving such encouraging, affirming comments to me. And I so appreciate you and your validation, your affirmation, and your support of my message and my mission here on YouTube. I so appreciate you. And I also want to say thank you to that viewer for your patience with me in making this video and responding to your request. Thank you for your patience with me. It has taken me longer than I originally anticipated to get this video out to you all, and that is also part of my message for you all. I have a lot to say today, apparently. So thank you. Today's video conversation is in response to a request from that viewer who said, can we please talk about how do I attract in an emotionally available partner? I'm loving how the rainbow, it keeps resting like almost on my third eye right there. I love that. How to attract in an emotionally available partner or an emotionally intelligent or an emotionally mature. I like to think of it as emotionally mature partner. And I have to say, making this video in response to that request is kind of funny. And I actually was on the phone with my very best, dearest friend yesterday, and we were talking about this topic of conversation. And I was laughing really hard because it's questions like these these same kinds of questions and scenarios come up in my one-on-one client calls, in my healing sessions with my clients. And I have to laugh. And again, this is the thing. It's like this divine sense of humor. I don't mean this in any disrespect to anyone. I see it in myself. I see it in all humans, human nature. We tend to get so impatient with the process. And so I was laughing with my best friend yesterday because I was like, it's kind of coming across to me like this, right? And we all do this. We all do this. You become aware of this paradise, right? You become aware, oh my God, this magical place exists. This Paradise Island, wherever it is for you, this heaven on earth location. I so want to go there. And it becomes into your awareness of like, this magical place exists and I want to go there. And you instantly know, I want to go there. I want to go there. I want to go there, right? But here's the thing. Going on a trip, going on vacation, getting yourself to this paradise location, there's a process and there are steps that you have to take to get there. And you can be impatient all you want and keep telling yourself, why can't I get to this paradise? Why am I still not at this paradise? I really want to go. I know I want this thing. I know this place exists. It's right there. Why can't I get there? But at the same time, to get there, you have to get yourself out of bed, maybe take a shower, get dressed, pack your suitcase, buy the tickets to get on the plane, get yourself to the airport, go through security, check yourself onto the airplane, take the flight, how many hours or days or layovers or whatever connecting flights. Get yourself to the paradise location, get off the plane, go to your hotel or wherever you're staying, and then you finally made it. And we as humans can accept the process and all the things that we have to do to get ourselves to this paradise location. But when it comes to these spiritual places, sorry, I know I'm having a lot of noise here today. I had a big snowstorm here yesterday where I live, and all the plowers are out there making a lot of noise, so I apologize. But we, in the physical world, when it's a physical location or something physical, tangible that you know exists, and you already know all the physical, tangible steps that you have to put into place to get yourself to this vacation spot, we're willing to do that and we understand the process. But when it comes to our spiritual journey or an energetic state or a particular dynamic with ourselves and some other person, an emotional place, an emotional intimate connection between ourselves and someone else, it's not a physical thing. It's again that spiritual energetic world. It's a dynamic, it's a connection. It's in the feminine world. And that process, we lose faith in the process. We lose trust. We doubt ourselves in that process. We get impatient with the process. I just spent a whole lot of time talking about a whole lot of that. So let's just put that frame on this conversation as we go into it and recognize I'm going to a paradise place that I know exists and I know I can get myself there, and I have to be patient and willing to do all the steps to actually get myself there, okay? So I also want to say I have a whole bunch of questions for you. For anyone who is interested in this topic and you have been doing a lot of work on your heart space, a lot of work on keeping your heart open and available as much as possible. Clearly, we're all human. We're not perfect. No one is perfect at this. But if you are really working on having your heart space be as open and available in any situation as much as possible, and you're really yearning and longing and desiring to have a connection with someone else who's doing that same level of work and availability as you, I have some questions for you that maybe you might want to journal on, meditate on, and apply to your life. And the reason why I'm answering this request with more questions, and I will give a few other little concrete tips, but I'm going to answer this with questions because depending on your life's journey, depending on the emotional experiences of your life that has led you up until this moment, okay? The person on the other end who is going to be a good fit for you in this intimate connection, it's going to vary person to person depending on your life experiences, the belief systems that you have created, the belief systems that have been passed down to you that you have to work through, your value systems changing and what you value. All of these things are very specific and vary person to person depending on your life experience, what you have personally experienced, that whatever pains you have experienced, whatever traumas, whatever disappointment, whatever pain and suffering you have experienced, that has given you a filter of what you then therefore value. So, and your pain and experiences and stuff is gonna be a little bit different than the next person. So for me, the short answer to how do I attract in an emotionally available, emotionally mature person is you have to go back into you and see where you're not still available to yourself. You need to go back and look at what limiting beliefs, what belief systems am I still subscribing to that are not authentic to me and are maybe belief systems that were religiously impacted and laid upon you from some sort of religious influence. Even if you didn't really go to church growing up, maybe your parents have some kind of religious influence on how they view the world and how the world works and how the world is, and that impacted how they parented you. Or the community, the demographic environment of where you grew up. How did that shape your belief system of how you think the world works? Are you still operating under that belief system, or have you really done the work to rip apart your belief system, question yourself, and only hold on to the beliefs that you have really tried and true to be true for you? And that is very challenging because that's identity, right? This whole idea of how do I attract in an emotionally available partner, the biggest piece of emotional availability, the foundation of being emotionally available is accountability and responsibility. So if I am still living in an existence where I don't have that person right here with me who is emotionally available, there is still some part of me that is not available to me. There is some part of me that is being limited or quieted or suppressed, repressed, minimized, shamed, quieted down. And that is a rabbit hole that never seems to be ending for me. Just when I think I have embraced all of myself and I am fully available to my own self and my own experience, something else will come up to show me, nope, you're still not totally emotionally available to yourself and your experience and your reactions and your reality and your belief systems. So all of that to say, let me ask some questions that maybe will help you get more specific with what exactly I'm talking about, right? And this first question is something that I actually have seen come up in a lot of calls I've had with clients, particularly if you had a childhood that was rather challenging and you definitely did not have your emotional needs met in childhood and you feel like there was some significant emotional neglect in your childhood. The question is, how well am I taking care of myself and my needs? Now, this is huge because I have found with myself and in working with the women and speaking with the women I have had the honor of working with and being invited into their intimate life, there's a lot of a belief system that people are carrying around that my needs are too much. and we settle for less than what we actually need. And I mean this in the really stupid, simple stuff of life. And I'll get into that. How well am I taking care of myself? Am I eating foods that are supporting me feeling good in my physical body? Am I nourishing myself with my food? Or am I just eating things that are fast and easy and convenient? Or am I eating things that just temporarily give me that emotional comfort, but in the long run, I know I'm actually sabotaging my health and myself, my feeling of self? And maybe later on I eat this thing and then I have a guilt trip about, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that thing. Well, then that's not taking care of yourself, because you're completely sabotaging everything. And I don't want to go too far into that. That goes into my intuitive eating. If any of you really want to rework your perspective on food and how you view food, reach out to me, send me an email. Email is in the description box. I do a lot of work around intuitive eating and completely reworking how you see and emotionally associate food with yourself. How well am I taking care of myself? How well am I supporting myself and all my needs? Or is there still a part of me that's telling me my needs are too much or unrealistic? Or I don't have the resources to provide what I need. If you're stuck in that one, again, reach out to me. I can help you very specifically with the things in your life concretely that you are struggling with, to really help you see how that could be different. We really don't understand the simple little things in your life, how significant they are. And if you start using the resources you do have that are right under your nose that maybe you're overlooking, you start using those resources to support and take care of yourself emotionally, it opens up the door to other, more bigger things, right? How well am I practicing self-discipline? Discipline is a word where a lot of us have resistance around. And if you're feeling resistant to anything I'm saying here, that right there is an indication you are actually not available to something that is being triggered within you. The moment you want to push or reject something, or the moment you have resistance to something that is being given to you, there is a part of you who is not available to looking at it, going through it, and coming out on the other side and having a breakthrough of being more available to yourself. So, again, self-discipline. How well am I practicing self-discipline? And what I mean by that is, and this is a really challenging one for a lot of us, particularly in our modern day life where everything is so fast. Everything is instantaneous. You know, you have Amazon where it's like the next day you can have the thing delivered to you. It's like instant manifestation. And we have microwaves and we have fast food. We have everything so instantaneous that our sense of the passing of time, or our sense of the rate of time, is warped and distorted when it comes to the ethereal world, the energetic world, the emotional world of manifestation. So self-discipline requires us to hold out for the real thing you want and not give into instant gratification, also known as settling for less than what you actually want, because maybe it's good enough and it works and it functions, but it's not actually what you want, because maybe you've lost faith in your ability to have the bigger, better thing that you actually want, or you lose patience with the process, like I said earlier, or you doubt yourself and think, well, maybe this just isn't meant for me. Self-doubt, doubting the process, impatient with the process. And along that as well with the self-discipline is really being willing to look at yourself, take accountability, take responsibility for coping mechanisms that are harming you, coping mechanisms that keep you actually separate from yourself. And if you are separate from yourself, you are not being available to yourself. If you are truly available to something, you're right there with it. You're fully connected to it. So if you're engaging in coping mechanisms that are numbing or quieting, again, distracting or escaping from some emotional experience that feels challenging or overwhelming or frustrating to you, you are denying yourself availability to the process, to seeing what needs to be seen and acknowledged and addressed and heard and felt, and working in and through it to get to the other side, which is actually deeper connection with self, or externally deeper connection with the person that you worked through the problem with. Availability is connection. Unavailability is separation, rejection, resistance, numbing, distracting, escaping, any of those coping mechanisms that are denying you access to your truth that may be painful in the moment. Am I allowing my feminine to be fully seen and heard by me? This one is huge again, and it kind of tiptoes on the coping or the instant gratification. The feminine is the emotional aspect of you. Am I allowing myself to feel and see and hear the feminine aspect of me that is maybe feels like it is screaming at me with big emotions, really difficult, challenging, painful emotions, and feeling like you're suffering? Am I listening to what it's trying to tell me? That goes back to what I say all the time in my videos. Looking at your emotions as a wealth of information about yourself. Looking at your emotions as an opportunity of wealth, self-mastery, self-connection. What is that? Availability. And then am I being an energetic match to the thing I want? Am I being an energetic match to the thing I want? That comes back again to accountability, and it's like that mirroring. In the spiritual world, we talk about mirroring, right? It's so easy, and the human, the ego, the mind wants to get out of the space of pain. So the tendency is to blame someone else, right? Well, why isn't this magical person in my life right now? Why do I not have an emotionally, why? I've been waiting for so long. I want to go to this paradise island, right? Okay. Well, what is in me that is still not energetically aligned with that? What part of the process of getting me to Paradise Island have I not yet figured out and worked through, overcome within myself? There's still something in me that is energetically not aligned with having a person who is emotionally available. Accountability is the very foundation of emotional availability every single time, whether it be with yourself or in a relationship with someone else. Accountability, without it, there is no availability. There's no emotional maturity or intelligence without accountability. And then I have one last little reminder. This video has gone way beyond my normal time frame here. I hope this was helpful. Recognize that clearing energy takes time, and look for the evidence of progression. This is so important. And this is where the idea of time really comes into play really powerfully. And you can use it to your advantage, okay? Sometimes it feels like the space of getting to this place of being in a connection, a partnership with an emotionally available partner, an open-hearted person, sometimes it feels like it's taking forever, right? And so here's the thing, you have to shift your perspective for a moment and recognize this. Your old identity of self, with all of the things that were blocking you, belief systems, whatever it was that parts of you that weren't available to you, the parts of you you've had to work through, answering all those questions I just said, for example, working through all that and shedding those old identities, you're clearing old energies out from you. You were previously aligned with energies that were blocking you from having an emotionally available partner. But in the removal of those old energies, those old belief systems, those old patterns, self-sabotaging patterns, old coping patterns, old self-doubt patterns, old low self-worth patterns, whatever those old patterns were, clearing those fully out from your energy field takes time. And there's a lapse between a new energetic state of being that you may have graduated into and your physical reality showing up at the new standard of who you are. So what I mean by that is, as you hold this new state of being that you're in, this new state of standards and awareness of what you want and who you're being in order to align with that paradise, right? In that space, things will come into your physical reality that are reflections of former versions of yourself. So it's like the past and all of your stages of progression, all of your levels of growth are going to manifest in after you've already gone beyond to the next level. So you can use this as encouragement. You can use this as validation, evidence, physical evidence that your manifestation process is working. Because if you pay close enough attention, when you attract something in and then you look at it and you say, okay, does this measure up to my heart's desire and the standard of the emotionally available person I want? Does this align with the state of being I am holding within myself? And if you say, no, that was aligned with a former version of myself, so you release it and basically you say no, then the next thing that comes in will be a higher vibration, a closer match to where you are. And there still may be a gap, but you can find encouragement in noticing that it is a higher quality, a higher frequency, a higher vibration than what you had before. So it's a continually willingness. And again, this is where not settling and the no instant gratification, saying no to these things that come in that were at lower states. Notice the progression getting closer and closer and closer to what you want. Learning to say no and gently release them back for the next newer, better, bigger thing to come in that's closer to what you're trying to manifest. This is just manifestation in general, but in this context, we're talking about emotional availability. You'll recognize parts, former, earlier, past versions of yourself energetically, emotionally, will come in. It's such a beautiful process of co-creation, but it all starts with massive self-accountability and being willing to see everything that's happening, using any experience in your world that stirs up emotions, using it as an opportunity for deeper connection and availability to yourself instead of running away, separating, and coping, unhealthy coping. How can I take care of myself? How can I take better care of myself? And coming at it from a nurturing, nourishing, restoring, renewing, building kind of a way. I hope this video helped. Thank you so much to those of you who've been here. I know this video was much longer than my normal ones. I hope you found it helpful. Please do let me know in the comments what you appreciated, and if there was anything that I said that was unclear or you wish for me to expand on, please do let me know. Thank you so much for being here, and have a beautiful rest of your day.